Donald Trump has cashed in big time on his own tariff policies, and here's how he did it. So a few weeks ago, Trump's financial disclosure for 2025 was released, and we learned something fairly startling. Let's flash back to last year when Trump announced his draconian tariffs on Liberation Day. But as you'll remember, Trump eventually backed back from those tariffs, and thus the taco meme was born that everybody remembers. Trump always chickens out because market manipulation, however, was going on. So it wasn't quite chickening out. He was actually apparently kind of nailing it. So according to Sludge, the day before President Trump announced a 90-day pause on his sweeping tariffs, sending markets exploding higher, his investment accounts quietly purchased hundreds of stocks near the market low. What are the odds? On April 8th, 2025, the disclosure shows 327 individual stock purchases worth as much as $12.8 million, one of the largest single-day stock buying sprees disclosed in the filing, okay? So just here's a list of the stocks that Trump purchased. These are including, but not limited to, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Shake Shack. Because why not, right? Who among us hasn't been awake at 2 a.m. and decided to buy some stuff off Amazon or maybe some stock in Shake Shack? So the S&P 500 jumped nearly 10% the following day when Trump announced the pause, one of the largest single-day gains in the index's history. So Sharon, just previewing what you've heard so far, summarize, what do you think? What's your hunch here?
Donald Trump put on this event and others and gives press conferences and comments to line his pockets. He's a grifter. He's the head of the Trump family grift and a loser who did not have great business sense. We know about the bankruptcies. We know he inherited things. We know how many things he ruined, has now made more money grifting off of the American people than he ever did in his lifetime. So I think the answer is obvious about what's going on here. And it continues right in he's like playing in our faces. Again, it's not really that they're trying to hide things. They're not.
Yeah, it used to be that I was like, oh, okay, maybe these corruption charges or accusations are a little overblown. But in this administration, it's just become comically obvious that that's what's going on. And also, you might be thinking, well, maybe it actually is okay. Like maybe this is overblown and it's not Trump actually making these trades. And according to his administration, that is exactly the case. There's nothing to worry about. It's all fiction. Don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. The White House has maintained that the accounts are managed by independent financial institutions and that the president plays no role in individual investment decisions. A White House spokesperson told CNN in January that Trump's accounts were invested through, quote, a computer-based model portfolios that automatically replicate recognized indexes such as the Schwab 1000, and that neither President Trump nor any member of his family has any ability to direct, influence, or provide input regarding how the portfolio is invested or when investments are bought or sold. So you can go ahead and just take that excuse with maybe a very large grain of salt because we have plenty more examples of very fishy trades. On August 18th, for example, the accounts purchased Intel stock valued between $250,000 and $500,000 4 days before Trump announced that the federal government would take a nearly $9 billion equity stake in the chip maker, sending Intel shares up roughly 6%. Also, a week prior to that, Trump had met privately with the Intel CEO, probably just golfing or whatever. And also there's more. Trump's accounts also repeatedly purchased Palantir and GEO Group, the private prison company as well, while both were receiving contracts from the federal government. So even if you imagine for a moment that all of this is on the up and up, it still doesn't look good. And my understanding, at least prior to this administration or the second administration, was that Trump really cared about image a lot. He cared about making sure that he came off in a particular way, that he was endearing to working class Americans, which is perhaps largely why he was elected, at least initially. And this just seems like corruption that is so brazen that it even goes against his own narcissism, if that makes any sense. But I guess greed will do that. Sharon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, but he's such a weirdo. He's such an old weirdo. How much money does this old weirdo who has captured the American presidency need? Okay, got it. You're not going to jail. You've insulated yourself. You've upended American government that we've had since, I don't know, forever, and you win. But you can't take it with you, okay? Your cankles are flaring up. You've got all kinds of issues. Why do we have to do it at this rate and this speed? It's like an overdrive. I don't even believe he cares about his children that much. He cares about himself first. So this is about first person greed. It's just bizarre. And the guy who doesn't really care and is doing it in our faces and not even trying to tell good lies anymore or intricate lies, also then wants to fight to keep his name on, the Kennedy Center. So does he really care about image? Can he salvage any of this? He's just an old weirdo.
Yep, he is an old weirdo. Well put. I agree with that diagnosis entirely. Also, I mean, I don't know how much of it is him and how much of it is like just people in his ear. And I don't know. In my mind, his brain is just like an Adderall pill that's been shoved inside of a chicken McNugget. Like, I don't think there's a lot going on there at this point. I think he's been hooked up to electrodes, and he's probably controlled by some AI program already. That's my conspiracy theory. But at the end of the day, he's still got people surrounding him, telling him exactly what he wants to hear, and that everyone loves him, that there's nothing to worry about. And I think those individuals, in addition to him, because ultimately the buck stops with him, they also are just pilfering the American people, and they have absolutely no shame in doing so. It's asinine.
Yeah, it is. I don't, sometimes I think about like the Wizard of Oz, and they pull back the curtain and the whole thing crumbles. Like, when is that moment going to happen? After this administration's over, they have to go somewhere, okay? And exist, I think, amongst us, unless they plan to press the button on the way out, the last day. I don't know, but it's just so weird, this little crew. Like, what do they do at their office parties? Really?
Yeah, I hesitate to, I shudder to imagine what they do, at least as the night progresses. But yeah, it's absolutely insane, and good luck to them. I mean, this is a great example of how when you elect people who, on the pretense that they're successful business people and their entire brand is making as much money as possible, this is guaranteed to eventually happen.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.